Good morning, everyone. Next chapter from the topic that is special senses is sense of hearing and equilibrium. Okay. So these are the contents of my presentation. So the first is hearing definition and introduction. Then next is the anatomy of ear. Then physiology of hearing. Then physiology of equilibrium, and lastly the disorders of ear. In that two diseases we are going to consider. That first one is Meniere's disease and second one is otitis media. So what is hearing? It is defined as ability to perceive sound. So the ear, it is an organ of hearing, and it is supplied by the eighth cranial nerve, and which is stimulated by vibrations caused by sound waves. So entire structure is encased within the petrous portion of the temporal lobe except pinna. So pinna is the external ear. Okay, and it is not enclosed in or encased in the temporal lobe. Okay. So anatomy of ear, the ear is divided into three main regions: the external ear, middle ear, and the internal ear. So external ear, it consists of parts, that is the auricle, then external auditory canal, and the third part is the eardrum. So the auricle is also known as the pinna. Okay, so second part in the anatomy of ear, it is a middle ear, and it is having two parts. That is, first one is the auditory ossicles, and the second one is auditory or eustachian tube. Okay, and the third one is the internal or inner ear, and it has two parts, that is cochlea and vestibuli. And vestibuli has three subparts, that is, first one is semicircular canals, second one is atrial, and third one is sacral. Okay, so first of all we are going to see anatomy of all these parts, that is external ear, middle ear, and internal ear. And once we finish with the anatomy of all these parts, we will actually deal with the physiology of hearing and physiology of equilibrium. Okay, so this is the structure of ear. So this is, you can see this part, it is all auricle, or it is also called as pinna. So next is the external auditory canal. So this is canal which opens up at the auricle part and then reaches to the eardrum. Okay, so eardrum, or the, it is also called as tympanic membrane. So till this point we have the uh, external ear. Then comes the middle ear, where we have the auditory ossicles, which are like three bones, that is the malleus, incus, and the stapes. Okay, and we have the auditory tube, or also called as the eustachian tube. And then next to the middle ear we have inner ear or internal ear, which consists of the cochlea and vestibuli. Okay, so vestibuli, you can see the semicircular canals. Then we have the internal auditory canal over here. Then we have the cochlea. Okay, so we are going to study in detail the anatomy of all of these parts, starting with the external ear, and the last part that we will cover, it is internal ear or inner ear. So let's start with the external ear or outer ear. So we have three parts in it, that is the auricle or pinna, then we have external auditory canal, and lastly we have the eardrum. Okay, so let's see first, that is auricle or pinna. So it is a flap of elastic cartilage. Okay, and the rim of auricle, it is called as helix. So you can see helix is the rim of the auricle. The inferior portion, that means the portion below, it is called as lobule. So you can see lobule. This portion of the ear, it is called as lobule. The ligaments and muscle attach the auricle to the head. So how this auricle or the external ear, it is attached to the head? It is attached by means of ligaments and muscle. Then comes the external auditory canal. So that is this portion. Okay, so it is a curved tube which is 2.5 centimeter in length. So it lies in the temporal lobe and it leads to the eardrum. So it basically, this external auditory canal, it connects the pinna or auricle with that of the eardrum. So eardrum, or it is also called as tympanic membrane, it is a thin semi-transparent partition which is present between external auditory canal and the middle ear. Okay, so it is covered by epidermis and it is lined by simple cuboidal epithelium. Okay, so that is the composition or the external appearance of the tympanic membrane, that is lined by the simple cuboidal epithelium. So tearing of the tympanic membrane, it leads to the perforated eardrum. Okay, so tearing means what? It is like uh, cut. When tympanic membrane gets cut, it is, we can call it as tearing of the tympanic membrane or the perforated eardrum. So a specific gland which is associated with this external auditory canal, it is the ceruminous gland. Okay, so it is a specialized type of sweat gland in the external auditory canal, and it secretes wax called as cerumen. Okay, so this is the secretion of the ceruminous gland. Okay, and it is specialized sweat gland. Sweat gland produces sweat, its secretion called as sweat. And in case of the ceruminous gland, which is a specialized type of sweat gland present in the external auditory canal, produces a wax like substance called as cerumen. Okay, so hairs plus cerumen, they prevent entry of dust and foreign objects. Okay, so what is the function of cerumen as well as hairs in the external auditory canal? That they act as a filter. They don't allow the dust particle and foreign objects to reach to the eardrum. Okay, so they have like a defense mechanism, or they are kind of defense mechanism of your ear, which protects inner part of the ear from the external harmful substances. Okay, so also they prevent the damage of the eardrum from these foreign objects. Then next comes is the middle ear. So middle ear, it is a small air filled cavity in the petrous portion of the temporal bone, and it is lined by epithelium. Okay, so it is air-filled cavity in the petrous portion of temporal bone. So it is separated from external ear by means of tympanic membrane. So what is present in between external auditory canal and the middle ear? It is the eardrum, and that separates the two portions, that is external ear as well as the internal ear. So from the internal ear, by a thin bony partition. Okay, so it is separated from internal ear by means of thin bony partition. Okay, so and this thin bony partition, it contains two small membrane covered openings. Okay, so which are these two openings? That is the oval window, and second one is the round window. Okay, the there are partitions in between the external ear and middle ear, and it is the tympanic membrane, and between the middle ear and the internal ear, it is the thin bony partition. Okay, thin bony means it is a bone which is very thin in nature. Okay, so that separates middle ear from the internal ear. Then basic feature of the or basic structure which is associated with middle ear, these are the auditory ossicles. So these auditory ossicles, they are actually made of three smallest bones in the body. Okay, so it extends across the middle ear and it is attached to it by the ligaments. So how these bones, they are held in one position, that is hanging in the middle ear by means of ligaments. Okay, so they are connected by the synovial joints, and as we have studied earlier, the synovial joints, they are the kind of movable joints. That means the bones which are attached together with synovial joint, they can actually move. Free movement is allowed by the synovial joint. So the bones which are named for their shapes, the first bone is the malleus, which is the shape is as per the hammer. Then incus, it looks like anvil, and the last one is the stepus, so it looks like stirrup. So depending on shape, they are named as the malleus, incus, and the stepus. So incus is the middle bone in the series, and it articulates with the head of stepus. Base or foot plate of the stepus fits into the oval window. So we have three bones, that is the first bone malleus. It connects the tympanic membrane of the external ear with that of the incus of the middle ear. Okay, so incus of the middle ear then connects with the stepus, which is a third auditory ossicle, and the foot plate of the stepus then connects with the oval window of the inner ear. Okay, so round window, it is a opening below the oval window. So please remember this: staples connects oval window, and below to the oval window we have round window which is part of inner ear. So it is enclosed by a membrane which is called as secondary tympanic membrane. Okay, so the primary or the first tympanic membrane is present between the external ear and internal ear, and the round window which is present below oval window, it is covered by secondary tympanic membrane. So two tiny skeletal muscles, they attach to the ossicles. So the first skeletal muscle is tensor tympani muscle, and the second muscle is stapedius muscle. So what is a tensor tympani muscle? We will see its description. So it is supplied by the trigeminal nerve. So we have already studied about the cranial nerves in the last chapter, that is peripheral nervous system. So trigeminal nerve, that is the Roman number 5 nerve, it supplies or it innervates the tensor tympani muscle. Okay, that means the nerve impulse that arises in trigeminal nerve, they are responsible for the physiological action of the tensor tympani muscle, which is, in this case, as it is a muscle, it has only one biological effect or physiological role, that is it contracts. Okay, and opposite of it is relaxation. Okay, so contraction and relaxation of the tensor tympani muscle, it is facilitated by the electrical impulse or the action potential carried by the trigeminal nerve to it. Okay, so it limits the movement. What is its function? Is to limit the movement. It allows movement, but to a certain degree or to a certain extent. So it increases tension on the eardrum. So as per its name suggests, it increases the tension on the eardrum. So it is located in close vicinity to the eardrum, and also it prevents damage to the inner ear from loud noises. Okay, so uh, this this particular function of this muscle, it is associated with this second point, that is it limits movement. As it limits movement, louder noise, even if it falls onto the eardrum, it's uh, the movement of the eardrum, it is controlled by the, or tension is created onto the eardrum, which controls the movement of these auditory ossicles. Okay, so whenever we will see physiology of hearing, I will tell you about this. Okay, the next muscle, next smallest skeletal muscle is the stapedius muscle. And this, the physiological role of stapedius muscle, it is regulated by, or it is facilitated by the facial nerve. Okay, so it is smallest skeletal muscle in human body. It protects oval window, and also it decreases sensitivity of hearing. So this tensor tympani muscle, it protects the eardrum, and this particular stapedius muscle, it protects the oval window. And why it is called as stapedius muscle? Because it is closely associated with the stapes, that is the third auditory ossicle of the middle ear. And this tensor tympani muscle, as it is closely associated with the tympanic membrane, that's why it is called as the tensor tympani muscle. And as it produces the tension on the eardrum, that's why the word that is tensor. Okay, so this is how it is connected. You can see this is the eardrum or the tympanic membrane, and this is the first auditory ossicle, which is malleus. Okay, so this malleus then connects with the incus. So incus is present in between malleus and the stapes. So this foot plate of the stapes connects to the oval window. Okay, so this, somewhere here, there will be oval window present on which the foot plate of the stapes is connected. Okay, so we have tensor tympani muscle, you can see over here, which connects to the this, that is the malleus bone. Okay, and the next we have, then we see over here the other muscle, uh, the other muscle, yes, stapedius muscle. So stapedius muscle, you can see the smallest muscle, skeletal muscle present in human body, and it doesn't allow the damage to the oval window. Okay, so the next is the auditory or the eustachian tube, which is also part of the middle ear. So opening in anterior wall of the middle ear, you can see over here, it is the auditory tube or the eustachian tube, and it is opens in the anterior wall of the middle ear. Anterior means in front of. Okay, it consists of both bone and elastic cartilage. Okay, so it connects the middle ear with the nasopharynx. So this eustachian tube, it actually connects our middle ear with that of our mouth. So it normally closed at its medial end, that is pharyngeal end. So during swallowing and yawning, it opens up. So what is its function? It allows air to enter or leave the middle ear until the pressure in the middle ear equals the atmospheric pressure. So equilibrium of the pressure in the middle ear with that of the atmospheric pressure, it is achieved with the help of the eustachian tube. Okay, so as it allows air to enter or leave the middle ear during yawning or the swallowing process, that's how the pressure in the middle ear, the air pressure in the middle ear, it is maintained in accordance with that of the atmospheric ear, atmospheric pressure. Okay, so you must have felt this whenever you are traveling from place of what to say, closer to the sea area, and when you change the altitudes. Okay, सो आपण मराठीत म्हणतो की कानात दडा बसलाय, की एकदम सडनली ओपनिंग अँड क्लोजिंग ऑफ इयर यू फील. That is because of this, that in certain cases your pressure in the middle ear, it is not able to get equilibrated with that of the atmospheric pressure. Okay, so as you move from the sea level to the at a higher altitudes, the pressure changes. Okay, so if your pressure in the middle ear is not able to match with that of the atmospheric pressure, that time you feel that frequent opening and closing of the ears. आपण जे मराठीमध्ये म्हणतो कानात दडा बसलाय, so that happens, it is because of this function of the auditory tube. Okay, so next is the internal or inner ear. So it is also called as labyrinth because of its complicated series of canals. It is called as labyrinth. Okay, so it consists of two main divisions, that is outer bony labyrinth, which encloses inner membranous labyrinth. Okay, labyrinth means in Marathi it is like bulbulaya, you know that thing. If you have seen it in the movie, that is the Harry Potter, part 4, Order of Phoenix. So in that, in the last scene, in the climax scene, there is some labyrinth through which they have to find out the way. So that is the labyrinth. So in case of the inner ear, it is called as the labyrinth, and externally it is bony in nature, that means made up of bone, and internally it is made up of membrane. Okay, so we will see the structure of the membrane. So you can see from this diagram also that externally it is made up of the bone, and internally we have the kind of membrane. Okay, so this bony labyrinth, it consists of the perilymph, a type of fluid, and the membranous labyrinth, it consists of the, or it contains endolymph. Okay, so internal ear, so bony labyrinth, first of all we will see. So it is a series of cavities in the petrous portion of the temporal lobe bone. So this is common for almost all part of the ear, that the petrous portion of the temporal bone consists of the most of part of the bone, most of part of the ear, sorry for that. So it is divided into three areas. The first area is the semicircular canals, second area is the vestibule, and the third area is the cochlea, which contains receptor for the hearing. Okay, so the semicircular canals and vestibules, they are associated with the equilibrium. So as in the title slide only, we have mentioned that the sense of hearing and the equilibrium. So the for equilibrium, which part of the ear is responsible? It is semicircular canals and the vestibule. And for the sense of hearing, the cochlea, which is part of internal ear, it is responsible at as it contains the receptors for the hearing. Okay, so bony labyrinth, it is lined with the periosteum and it contains perilymph. Okay, so internally bony labyrinth is lined with periosteum and it contains perilymph, which is a type of fluid. Epithelial membranous labyrinth, it contains endolymph. Please remember, bony labyrinth and membranous labyrinth. In between, whatever gap is present, it is filled with the perinymph. Okay, and inside the membranous labyrinth, we have another type of fluid that is called as endolymph. Endo means inside. Okay, potassium ions in endolymph helps in generation of auditory signals. So the endolymph, it is rich in the potassium ions. Vestibule, the oval central portion of the bony labyrinth. So you can when I will show you the diagram, you can get it from there that in between semicircular canal and the cochlea, the central connecting portion is called as vestibule. So membranous labyrinth in the vestibule, it contains two sac-like structures. First is called as a utricle and second is called as saccule. So you can call it as utricle also, but utricle is more proper pronunciation. Okay. So semicircular canals, these are the three superior and posterior bony projections from the vestibule. So they are like x, y and z axis. So x, y and z axis. So these canals, they are like this. They are arranged like this. Okay, and in between we have the vestibule and then we have the cochlea. Okay, so ampulla, it is a swollen enlargement at one end of each canal. So at this point, the point which is closer to the vestibuli, we have the ampulla, which is swollen enlargement of the canal. So the semicircular ducts, these are the portion of the membranous labyrinth which is present inside the bony semicircular canals. Okay, so membranous labyrinth which is present inside the semicircular canals, it is semicircular duct. So this is the structure you can see over here. These are the semicircular canals arranged in like X. This will be the y axis, this will be the x axis, and this will be the z axis. Okay, so these semicircular canals are arranged in this. So externally it is bony labyrinth and internally it is membranous labyrinth, which is called as the semicircular duct. So at ends of this semicircular canal, we have the enlarged portion or bulged portion which is called as ampulla. Okay, so you can see ampulla. So we have three semicircular canals, as I said: lateral, posterior and anterior. So uh, in the vestibular part of the uh, inner ear, we have two sacs, that is the utricle and the saccule. Okay, so this part, this portion, it is called as vestibuli. This portion, it is called as semicircular canals, and this portion it is called as cochlea. Okay, so the part of membranous labyrinth which is present in the cochlea, it is called as cochlear duct. The part of membranous labyrinth which is present in the semicircular canal, it is called as semicircular duct. And the part of membranous labyrinth which is present in the vestibuli, it forms two sac-like structures, that is atricle and saccule. Okay, so let's see what is a cochlea. So it is a bony spiral canal which is anterior to vestibuli. Okay, so it resembles snail's shell. Snail, you know the snail, so like shell of that snail it looks. Okay, so makes almost 3 turns around a central bony core which is called as modiolus. So this cochlea, this central core part, it is called as modiolus, and it makes 3 turns: 1, 2 and 3. Okay, and then it connects to the vestibuli. So it is divided into 3 channels, that is first one is the cochlear duct, then it has scala vestibuli, and next is the scala tympani. So you can see over here structure, if you can see, this is the cochlear part. Then we have, this is the cut portion, you can see scala tympani over here, this part is scala tympani. Then we have cochlear duct in between scala tympani and scala vestibuli. Okay, and this is the scala vestibuli, this is cochlear duct, and this is scala tympani. So you will understand the what is the meaning of this arrow when we will actually study the physiology of hearing. Okay, so transmission of sound waves from the scala vestibuli to scala tympani by way of helicotrema. Okay, so cochlear duct, which is also called as scala media. Why it is called as scala media? Because it is present in between the scala tympani and the scala vestibuli. So what is it? It is continuation of the membranous labyrinth into the cochlea, and it is filled with the endolymph. So the channel above cochlear duct, it is called as scala vestibuli, and it ends at the oval window. The channel below the scala media, it is called as scala tympani, and it ends at the round window. So please remember this: the scala tympani it ends at round window, and the scala vestibuli it ends at the oval window. Okay, so vestibular membrane it separates cochlear duct and scala vestibuli, and the basilar membrane it separates cochlear duct from the scala tympani. Okay, so if we consider 3 layers over here, this is 1 2 3. So this is first one is the vestibuli, this one is the media, and this one is the tympani. Okay, so this, the wall or the membrane which is between the scala media and tympani, it is called as basilar membrane, and the membrane which is between the scala media and scala vestibuli, it is vestibular membrane. Okay, so next, this is the section through one turn of cochlea, you can see. So this is scala vestibuli, which consists of perilymph. Please remember the type of fluid which flows through the scala vestibuli, and it is perilymph. Then we have vestibular membrane, which is present at the uh, at the junction of, or the part which connects to the cochlear duct, it is vestibular membrane. Then we have, sorry, then we have cochlear duct, which is present in between scala vestibula and the scala tympani, and it is also called as scala media, and it consists of endolymph. Okay, so in the cochlear duct we have the tectorial membrane. Again, you will understand its function when we will study the physiology of hearing. Then the part of tectorial membrane is the spiral organ, or which is also called as organ of Corti. So next to the this organ of Corti, we have the basilar membrane, which separates scala media from the scala tympani, and the scala tympani, it consists of the perilymph, similar or same as that of the scala vestibuli. Okay, so this particular spiral organ, or the organ of Corti, it is connected by, or it is innervated by cochlear branch of the vestibulocochlear nerve, which is the eighth cranial nerve. Okay, so next, continuing with the cochlea only, resting on the basilar membrane, we can find the spiral organ, or the organ of Corti. So this spiral organ, it is a coil sheet of the epithelial cells, and it consists of the supporting cells and about 16,000 hair cells. So hair cells, they are just like look like hairs. That's why they are called as hair cells. So again, the number is number may vary, but on and around it contains 16,000 hair cells. So what are hair cells? Hair cells are the receptors for the hearing. Okay. So in cochlea only we have the tectorial membrane, which is a flexible gelatinous membrane, and it covers the hair cells of the spiral organ. So this membrane, it is in contact with the distal ends of the hairs of the organ of Corti. So sensory neurons plus motor neurons, they form the cochlear branch of the vestibulocochlear nerve. Okay. So we have already seen that vestibulocochlear nerve, it is a type of mixed nerve. So it consists of the sensory as well as motor neuron part. Cell bodies of the sensory neuron, they are located in the spiral ganglion. The next, the spiral organ, it is enlarged and it is shown over here. You can see. So this is the tectorial membrane. It is rested upon the hair cells. Okay, so you can see in hair cells also we have the supporting cells and the outer hair cells. So at the top of the hair cells we can find the hair bundle. Okay, so there is outer hair cell as well as we have the inner hair cell. Okay, so this is the basilar membrane on which this entire organ of Corti is rested, and the cells that line the scala tympani, and also these hair cells, they are innervated by the sensory and motor fibers in the cochlear branch of the vestibulocochlear nerve. Okay, so we will see about physiology of hearing and events which are involved in hearing in next lecture. We should stop over here now. Okay, thank you.